Hello everyone, and welcome to 7th grade Math Module 3, Expressions and Equations. In this video, we're looking at Lesson 14, Solving Inequalities. Our learning goal is to make sure we can write an inequality from a word problem and then solve the inequality. This will help us to master Standard 7 EEB3, solve multi-step real-life and mathematical problems posed with positive and negative rational numbers in any forms using tools strategically, and 7 EEB4, use variables to represent quantities in a real-world or mathematical problem and construct simple equations and inequalities to solve problems by reasoning about the quantities. We're going to be using the same steps that we were using to solve our algebra problems with equations that we're going to do with our inequalities. So first, you're going to distribute anywhere you see the distributive property can be used. Then you'll combine any like terms. Then undo addition or subtraction with the inverse. Then undo multiplication or division with the inverse. Remember with our inequalities that you will change the direction of your inequality symbol when you multiply or divide by a negative number. And then, of course, we should check our answers. For today, most of our equations are going to be following steps 3 through 5. We're not going to have some particularly complex ones with combining like terms or parentheses. So let's start off by trying to solve the two-step inequality n divided by 3 minus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 4. First, I look for any addition or subtraction to undo. I see that I'm subtracting a 5 in this problem, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides of my inequality. When I do that, I am left with n over 3 is greater than or equal to 1. Next, I see that I have multiplication, so I'm going to undo it with division. I'm going to undo it with multiplication. There we go. So since I was dividing by 3, I'm instead going to now multiply both sides by 3. This cancels out the 3 that is with my n and leaves me with n is greater than or equal to positive 3. Because the number I multiplied by was positive, the direction of my inequality symbol stays the same. If I go to graph this, because I have a greater than or equal to symbol and 3 can be a solution, I use a closed dot, and then I draw my arrow in the direction of my other possible solutions, all of the numbers that are greater than 3, and that would be to the right. Next we have negative 4.4x plus 2 is greater than 8.6. You can pause the video now to try to solve this inequality on your own. Alright, so first we see that we have addition with plus 2, so we're going to do the inverse by taking away 2 from both sides of our inequality. When we do that, we're left with negative 4.4x is greater than 6.6. Next, I see that we have multiplication. To undo multiplication by negative 4.4, I have to divide both sides by negative 4.4. Because I'm dividing by a negative number, I must reverse the direction of my inequality symbol. Otherwise, my answer to my inequalities will no longer be true. When I divide that, I am left with x is less than negative 1/2. If you haven't already, try to pause the video here and graph the solution to your inequality on a number line. So, we're going to put a point on our number line for negative 1.5, which would be halfway between negative 1 and negative 2. Our point is open because we have a less than symbol, meaning that negative 1/2 is not a solution to this inequality. But everything to the left on the number line is, so we draw that arrow to the left to show that all of the numbers less than negative 1.5 are solutions to this inequality. An archery range charges $50 for membership plus $5 per round. Vivian wants to join the range and shoot as many rounds as possible, but she only has $75. What is the greatest number of rounds she can shoot? We're going to use some words to try to write an inequality first, and you can use the letter R to represent your number of rounds. So pause the video here and take the information from your problem to try to write an equation with words first, an inequality with words first, and then try to write your expression for your inequality. So starting off with words, we see that the cost per round is there. And since we have per, we know we're going to have to multiply the cost per round by the number of rounds. We also know that there's a membership fee. It doesn't really depend on the number of rounds, so we're just going to add that to our cost per round times the membership fee, or times the number of rounds. And then we know that at most, she can spend that total amount of $75. So our cost per round is 5 times R to represent our number of rounds, plus our $50 for membership. And if it's at most $75, that means it can be less than or equal to $75. So now that we have our equation, you can pause the video here to try to solve this, inequality, not equation, to see what R is. How many rounds can she do? All right, so I see addition, and when I see addition, I undo it with subtraction. So I'm subtracting 50 from both sides of my inequality. Next, that leaves me with 5R is less than or equal to 25. Now I just see the multiplication is happening. So I undo my multiplication of 5 by dividing both sides by 5. Since I divided by a positive number, the direction of my inequality symbol does not change. So this here means that R is less than or equal to 5. So Vivian can do 5 rounds or less. What does this video make you wonder about solving inequalities? Write your questions down so you don't forget them. Then you can try to find answers online or ask a classmate or teacher. Thanks for watching, and when you're trying this on your own, remember, if you learned from your failures, then you succeeded.